We're back talking about Sunday, a journey to the Tourney. Thanksgiving weekend at Lakota West High School. Again, thanks to our sponsor, Beacon Orthopedics and Dr. Kremchek. First game, we're going to pick winners here again today. First game, 10 a.m., is Loveland and Wilmington. Who you got?
Before we go to the games, I want to just kind of discuss the hospitality because you guys do a great job. I know you're running around like a madman most of the weekend, but anybody who comes, they experience the hospitality. The food's great. I mean, how many college coaches have you had? I mean, it's dozens every year. The hospitality room has incredible food.
You spend a lot of time in there, if I recall.
I do, and Miss Oxley makes some dynamite chocolate chip cookies. I've already been notified that there's some going to be waiting for me.
Nice.
And you guys treat media with a ton of respect. You provide box scores at halftime and after games, and if any media outlet needs kids or coaches to talk to, just the whole atmosphere is incredible. The one that's always compared to is obviously Classic in the Country, and you guys you've mirrored that, and even though maybe it's not as popular right now, it's on its way. And
yeah, we're excited. We're going into year 3 of Journey to the Tourney, and we feel really good about where it's at. The people at Lakota West do a great job, especially in that hospitality room. They just make everybody feel welcome, and we're fortunate to have them helping. We have Dan Olson from ESPN coming this year, Mark Lewis from Blue Star, Brett McCormick from ASGR. All of the top scouts in the country. They know that this is the place to be for Thanksgiving weekend, and to see all this talent. We added up a couple of weeks ago. We have over 50 Division I players who are either will be signed at that point or are prospects for Division I, and obviously then a bunch of Division II, III, and NAI players too. But to have over 50 Division I players over 3 days, if you're a casual basketball fan, it's the spot to be.
There's no doubt to start the season, it's unbelievable, and there's nothing like it in the state of Ohio and probably anywhere close to start the season off. So with that said, I'm going with Wilmington. Maya Jackson going to Seton Hall, big time point guard, I'm going with Wilmington, and
there we go.
See if you disagree or agree.
I'll go with Loveland. First of all, there's going to be both teams are orange and black, so going to be a ton of orange and black in this building. I believe they met in either the sectional final or a district semi last year, so one of them will be returning where same opponent from last year to this year. Like you said, Maya Jackson is a great player, scores in bunches, can hit the three, plays with so much energy. I love watching her play. Loveland has Jillian Hayes, who's really come on. Can play multiple positions, can score, can defend, rebounds extremely well. I'm going to go with Loveland in this one, but should be a great crowd and a great game. 11:30 we go to, this should be a fun one, Kettering, Fairmont, and Newark. Again, 2 contrasting styles. We talked about Fairmont and how big they are. Newark obviously brings back a ton of experience and guard play, one of the best shooters in the state as well, Morgan Sharps. So it should be a fun one here.
I'm going to go with Newark. I mean, I think so highly of Shoemate as a coach, and I know he's always going to be prepared, and he's going to know Fairmont's weaknesses, and he's going to take advantage of it. And if I had to guess, he's probably going to spread out the bigs and just beat them to the rim every time.
It's a pretty good guess, right?
I mean, the guy, he can coach as good as anybody, so I'm going to go with Newark.
Yeah, I think Newark is probably the favorite. I'm going to go with an upset here and go with Fairmont. I think Maddie Westfeld's the best player in the game, and so I'm going to go with, when you have the best player, you've got a chance to win still. I think their length could give Newark some problems, if they're not able to spread them out, like you said. Newark's really good when they get a lead, to be able to really be patient and run their stuff. So it will kind of depend how this game gets started, in my opinion. But again, I think a ton of talent over on the Fairmont side, too. 2 contrasting styles, which should be a really good game. 110, we've got the state champion returners Pickerington Central versus Springboro. Like you talked about earlier, Pick Central, they've got Madison Green returning, Malia Perry, Nicole Stevens. They had one of the highest profile transfers of this year, Sky Williams, transferred in as a sophomore. So loaded with talent. Coach Hedgepath does a great job. Playing Springboro, who had a really good year last year as well. So it should be a good one.
I know Springboro is a good basketball team, and they're definitely going to be competing for a chance to move to regionals. But Pick Central's they're still loaded. They lost a lot, but they're still loaded. And you mentioned all the kids that are top flight kids, but I really like Stevens. I mean, that kid I think is underrated.
Yeah.
Mostly because of who she's played with for the last several years, and I just think she's a very, very good basketball player. And obviously, she's not going to determine the outcome of this game because there's so many great players. But I think she's definitely deserving of a shout out, and I'm going to go with Pick Central.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pick Central too. I actually got to watch them scrimmage last night. They're running different stuff. That's good for their personnel this year. They lost a lot of height, but they returned all their guard core. So they're doing some Princeton stuff, some dribble drive stuff, and it looks really good. So, I think it will – anytime you have Madison Green on your team, I think you got a chance.
Yeah, she's
one of the most underrated defenders, on-the-ball defenders, too, in the state. So, again, I think Pick Central is somebody who I would not be surprised to see them go back-to-back and win again this year. So definitely going to go with Pick Central in this one.
Yeah, Sky Williams ain't too bad either. It's going to be a nice addition to the team.
2:45, we've got Huber Heights Wayne against Gahanna Lincoln. This will be Wayne's second game. I believe Gahanna opens up in Reynoldsburg's tournament, maybe Friday or Saturday before this. So it'll be their second game as well. Really like, they're a fairly young team. They've got Eden Battle, 2020, who really love to watch her play. She just, again, can score in bunches, plays with a great deal of energy. Morgan Darnell at the point guard spot. They've got some freshmen that have come in to really give them some depth. This will be a huge game for them against somebody in Huber Heights Wayne who has a ton of experience returning, obviously a ton of talent. So it should be a good one.
I'm going to go with Wayne. I definitely like Battle. She really had at the talent show last spring. She lit it up, phenomenal. I like Wayne's athleticism and their depth, and they definitely have a lot of playmakers as well. So I'm going to stay with Wayne here.
Yeah, again, I think this is a game for Gahanna to kind of see where they're at, and have a chance to take the next step. But I think, again, the experience of Huber Heights Wayne, their guard play. I was at an open gym a couple weeks ago, and their outside shooting has really improved too. Olivia Trice going to Bowling Green and shot it really well. Destiny and Bree have really improved in that as well. So I think, Wayne is the clear favorite in this one, but still should be a really fun game to watch. Big star power game here next at 4:25. We've got Mason in their second game against Toledo Rogers for their first.
I'm going to go with Mason. Zach Cook could obviously potentially be the best player on the team on the floor between her and Sammy, but nobody's stopping Zaya. Zaya could probably score 35 points, and unfortunately for Toledo, when they play tough teams, they can still lose when she scores 35. Right. I just think Mason has too much talent. Rogers has obviously Zaya and then a couple other kids, but Mason from top to bottom I think is a better team, and I'm going to go with Mason. Yeah,
I'm going to actually go with Rogers in this one again. Sammy and Zaya, two great players, so it'll be really fun, and two completely different players too. And I think it would, goes without saying a little bit, this 2019 class is unbelievable, and you talk about Horston being here and Zaya and Sammy, and then you've got Kirsten Bell, not playing in this event, but up north, and J.C. Sheldon, you got Madison and Malia. I could go on and on.
Yeah.
But this 2019 class is one of the most special classes we've had here in a long time. But Zaya's just been on another level since the state championship. I don't remember how many points she ended up with, but it seemed like every time she shot it went in. It's coming off another USA gold medal. Recently, like we said, committed to South Carolina. So I'm actually going to go with Rogers. Again, I think it's two completely different styles. Coach Matula is going to want to control the game a little bit pace-wise, and Rogers is going to want to get up and down.
Yeah.
So I think whoever can control the pace of the game will be successful here, but going to go with Rogers. Two more games to go. The 6 o'clock game, the Battle of the Notre Dames. We've got Mount Notre Dame from Cincinnati, Toledo Notre Dame Academy. This will be their first game, I believe, of their season. And they're kind of, highlighted. They have one of the best freshmen in the state in Grace Van Sluten, who you can play multiple positions. You've got Jayla Johnson back, a good core. They lost their post player from last year to graduation, but have about everybody back otherwise. And then, like we talked about with Mount Notre Dame, we'll start 5 Division I players. and obviously a closer to home game for them there too.
Yeah. It seems like we always have a Notre Dame matchup, like at least once a year,
Yeah.
whether it's here or at the Classic, and they rarely disappoint. Like you mentioned, Van Sluten, tough kid. I believe it'll probably be her first high school
I think so,
game.
yeah.
But it's going to be a great matchup. I'm going to go with Mount Notre Dame. I think the talent's just too deep over there for Toledo Notre Dame right now. I love the coach up there, and I have loved watching Toledo Notre Dame for the last several years. But I'm going to go with Mount Notre Dame on this one.
Yeah, I think Travis, too, at Toledo Notre Dame is one of the most underrated coaches in the state. They've been in the Final Four how many times? And he just does a great job, like we talked about with Pickerington Central, how they're changing up how they play with their personnel. He's very similar in that,
Yeah.
and can get his best players the right shots at the right times. He just does a great job preparing his team. However, Mount Notre Dame, I think, just has too much. They have the experience. I can't pick against them twice, or I'll never be back allowed in Cincinnati, I don't think. But should be an awesome game, again, between the Notre Dames, and we'll go with Mount Notre Dame there.
And you pick against them twice, you're bound to lose at least one.
And at least my,
No doubt about
my
it.
dentist and Doc Scott Rogers. So 7:30, last game of the event. We've got host Lakota West against Tecumseh. This will be Lakota West's second game, coming off a tough one the night before with Northwestern. And then Tecumseh really, I think, is a team that could upset some people in the tournament this year. They are an extremely veteran team. When you talk about, Danielle and the great job that she does, her daughter, they just, I think will be a tough out as the season goes on.
Yeah, I really, with Coach Thomas's daughter, Corinne, she's one of the most improved kids I've seen in the last 4 years. I mean, she started as a big shooter. Now she's developed her game. She defends. She gets to the rim as well as any kid her size. So she's really added dimensions to her game, which I enjoyed seeing as someone who watches the kids. Then Presley Griffiths is dynamite as well. Playing, again, we've mentioned this before, playing against Lakota West at Lakota West is tough, and I don't think that they're a stranger to this. I think they've probably played them in the tournament before.
Mm-hmm.
Got to go with Lakota West as much as I like Tecumseh, and I agree with you that they are going to be a solid team and probably make a nice little tournament run, but I just don't see them beating Lakota West at this particular day.
Yep, I'm going to go with Lakota West too. I think difference in this game is both teams have some really good guards, but Nevaeh Dean, in my opinion, should be the difference inside, just with her height at 6'2" and her ability to stretch the defense and hit the three even, but to post up inside and be kind of that enforcer and rebounding in there, I think she can be the difference. So
I like that Coach Thomas wants to jump on a Lakota West.
Absolutely, yep.
In the first, I'm guessing, is their first game of the season. That tells me a lot about where they're looking to go this season, and they're ready to take on whoever they got to take.
Yeah, I think when you look at some of these top teams, when you look at Mount Notre Dame and Afrocentric, for them to be willing to play each other game one of the year, that's incredible.
Absolutely.
And that's why you see those type of teams at the end of the year playing in Columbus. And I'll go back to when I was fortunate to coach at Hathaway Brown with Paul Barlow. We set the record one year for most losses for a state championship team. I think we were 11-9 or something going into the tournament, but we just played such a tough schedule, and it prepares you for that tournament. The best coaches and programs, they just load up that schedule and they almost look at the season as their preseason to play for those last 8 games. And again, kudos to Coach Thomas for this, as well as many of the other coaches in this event for playing top teams.
And as this wraps up, one of the next events is the holiday hoopla that I'll be running at Stowe, and you'll be there, and you'll be observing kids up there, and it's another event that I'll be excited to take part in. And
yeah, I know we've got 5 games that day, right?
5 games.
5 games highlighted. There's a Newark Glen Oak game, which should be really good game. 2 top 5 teams in the state, as well as Stowe. Obviously, the host school is going to be really strong this year too. So that should be a great day of basketball right after Christmas.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get together and talk about that at some point as well.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having us. Again, we're really excited about this year's journey to the tourney at Lakota West High School on November 23rd to 25. We'll start off at 1 p.m. on Friday for 5 games, and then have 7 games Saturday and 7 games on Sunday. would love to see you all there. You can buy tickets at the door, and we'll go from there.